I don't need it. I don't need it. I definitely don't need it. I 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 need it!
This scene shows everything wrong with Netflix Zuko. In a moment of desperation, while Zuko wanders the desert alone, he comes across a bag filled with what we can assume is supplies. Zuko sees it belongs to a pregnant couple, and after thinking about it for a literal second, he takes it and never looks back. What's even crazier is that in the next literal scene, he defends a little boy from the Earth Army bullies who want to take half of the kids' supplies for themselves, calling them out for taking supplies from civilians when he literally just left a pregnant woman to die in the desert. In the original Avatar the Last Airbender series, we see Zuko steal. He is not above taking food, money, and supplies from civilians, with him even taking an ostrich horse from a family which just fed him. The difference here is that he feels entitled to their belongings because he sees himself as more desperate than them, that they can survive without these things. In Zuko Alone, when he is wandering, he comes across this very exact same scenario. With nothing to eat and drink, he is about to take food by force from the family until he realizes the woman is pregnant and decides he would literally rather risk dying than steal from her. Cartoon Zuko explicitly states that he has no honor without the Avatar. He steals, he hurts people, he burns down villages. He does all of this because he is willing to do anything to capture the Avatar, even betray Uncle Iroh at the end of Book 2. But even though he is clearly a villain, he still lives by a code. That's what Zuko Alone was meant to show us, which Netflix did not understand. Zuko spends the entire episode helping out a little Earth Kingdom boy named Lee, defending him from the Earth Kingdom bullies, helping his family, and teaching him how to fight. He does this because he sees himself in the little boy, wanting him to be able to stand up to bullies. The reason why is because Zuko doesn't see himself as evil or as a villain, but as someone who is standing up to the injustices in the world. But Zuko thinks about this more selfishly than he does not. He thinks about how the world wronged him, how he can get his honor back, and how capturing the Avatar is the only way for Zuko's world to be restored back to balance. It's clear that in the first 2 seasons of the show, Zuko cares little for anyone else, even the people who helped him, even Uncle Iroh. But Zuko Alone was meant to show that even when Zuko is pushed to the brink of desperation, he still stands up for what he believes in. Whether it's not stealing from a pregnant woman, helping out a defenseless boy, or standing tall as the Fire Nation prince when he fights against the Earth Kingdom bullies, Zuko, even when completely alone, will follow what he thinks is honorable. In Netflix's Avatar, after Zuko left that pregnant woman to die, he still does something similar to the episode, staying to help the boy named Pang this time and his sister Faye at their farm. But after beating the Earth Kingdom bullies this time barehanded and without having to use firebending, there is no scene of him standing proud as a Fire Nation prince. Instead, he just ditches this family after he hears the Avatar is in town and burns nearly the whole village down just to get to Aang. You could argue which group ended up doing more damage to the civilians, the bullies who were taking supplies for themselves, or Zuko burning down their home. So what does honor even mean to Netflix Zuko? We know what honor means to cartoon Zuko, standing proud as a Fire Nation prince, capturing the Avatar, but still defending those that are helpless, which we see him do when he protects Lee, takes food from the rich captain when he's on the refugee boat with Jet. But here, I have honestly no idea. Azula makes fun of him for trying to capture the Avatar to restore his honor, which Zuko denies to her. And then what's even weirder is that in the Netflix show, Azula tells him he can go home. He doesn't have to capture the Avatar anymore, that his father wants him back. A similar scene plays out in the first episode of Book 2 in the cartoon, where Azula says this, but she is lying so that she can capture Zuko and Iroh. Her father wants them back so that they can't embarrass the Fire Nation anymore and wants them thrown in prison. But in Netflix Avatar, Azula is telling the truth. Ozai actually wants Zuko to return home and doesn't care about his mission of capturing the Avatar anymore. But Zuko still chooses to fight Aang anyways. But then, when Iroh shows up, they both decide to help the gang fight Azula. But why would he do this? He just said he wanted to capture the Avatar, and even though he doesn't trust Azula, it's clear that what he wants more is Aang. But let's just imagine that Sokka hitting Zuko in the head here made him temporarily forget about which goal he valued more. So how does Zuko act for the rest of the season? Pretty selfless actually. He does help Jet take food, but also to get medicine for an injured Uncle Iroh, showing that he's willing to risk danger to help his family. Then, when they get to Ba Sing Se, he becomes the Blue Spirit to save a community of deserters from the Fire Nation. He even spares Aang when he could have easily captured him. He tells Uncle Iroh he wants to protect the helpless, that what matters to him is helping people, that he doesn't want to let anger or vengeance control him any longer. So, at this point, Netflix Zuko has made it clear that what his honor means to him is standing up for what's right. This version of Zuko even lets Aang go, and what matters is standing up for the helpless. Then he gets thrown into prison for trying to save Katara from the Dai Li, which is a pretty selfless act. But suddenly, right after that, he goes back to helping Azula after just fighting with her because she said one conversation about how their mom told them to look out for each other. Zuko, I don't think your mother meant betray your uncle and help your sister conquer an entire city when she said look after your sister. Which, by the way, would mean all the lives of the Fire Nation deserters are now at risk because Zuko just helped the Fire Nation capture Ba Sing Se. So what was all of that you were saying about protecting the helpless to Katara just literally 5 minutes ago? In the cartoon, Zuko betrays Iroh and Katara, helping Azula take down Aang. But he does this because up until this point in the show, he only saw Aang literally once in the entire second season. And that was when they were all ganging up on Azula after she lied to him about Ozai wanting him home. So later on in the cartoon, when he is rescued by his uncle and Aang, he is still shocked by how Uncle Iroh could help the Avatar. Because to Zuko, he still believes that capturing the Avatar would mean he could restore his honor and gain his father's approval. That's why when Zuko reaches his crossroads of destiny between either capturing the Avatar or choosing good, he chooses to capture the Avatar. Because that means he gets back everything he thought he lost. He gets to go home. In Netflix's Avatar, Zuko already let Aang go once, not because of Uncle Iroh's influence either, but by himself. He chooses to help the Fire Nation deserters by himself. He chooses to save Katara by himself. So you're expecting me to believe that this version of Zuko, who has no reason to capture the Avatar anymore, would suddenly decide to help Azula capture the very city and destroy the lives of everyone he has been trying to protect? This version of Zuko has absolutely no honor. After drinking some tea and calming down, I have to ask the question, who cares? Who cares if Netflix Zuko isn't an exact representation of the cartoon, and who cares about these subtle changes? What's the point in comparing the original to clearly a different adaptation? The original Avatar is obviously so impactful to me, and especially Zuko's character. I found myself resonating with him the most out of all of the characters that have inspired me in Avatar. And the big reason why, like most people, is his redemption arc. It was done so well. It balanced both sides of himself, the parts of him that wanted to be good versus the parts of him that wanted to live up to his father's expectation. But no matter how much he struggled, he always had this baseline of honor. Zuko's journey, when done right, like in the original story, will last for generations. It's something that I continue to draw value from, and it's something that I hope that one day when I have children, I can show them. Because you and I, we lose sight of ourselves. We lose our path more often than not, honestly, and most of us will end up being like Zuko, where we contradict ourselves, where we don't know what's the difference between good and bad, and we don't know how we want to be in this world. We can doubt ourselves so much, just like Zuko did. But the difference is that I hope you and I are not constantly betraying ourselves, because there comes a point where the more that we betray our values, the more that we lose sight of ourselves, that can just be who we are. And that was my problem with this Netflix version of Zuko. He went way off the deep end in terms of how self-centered he was, how selfish he was. Imagine that this was us, or this was someone that we loved who was constantly going back and forth between what they valued and who they wanted to be. At some point, you would lose faith in them if they did something so irredeemable, which is what I believe they made Zuko, because they made his betrayal of Uncle Iroh and of betraying Ba Sing Se so much worse, because they made him do things that an honorable Zuko would have never done. Watching the Netflix version of Avatar just made me really appreciate how impactful the original series was, how many good lessons that there are in there, because no matter how old I get, I keep on returning to this show, and I keep on drawing values and lessons that when I am lost, help me find my path forward. And that's exactly why Zuko's arc is so important, and that when it's done right, you can become a better person just by watching Zuko go through all of his struggles and seeing yourself in him. I don't think anyone is going to see themselves in Netflix Zuko when he steals from pregnant women, when he's playing Batman at night in Ba Sing Se, and when he betrays everything and everyone he loves just to help out Azula. Not even to redeem his honor or to get his father's approval, which doesn't justify how he betrayed Uncle Iroh in the end of the second book, but at least is understandable, that we can understand what drives that version of Zuko. Netflix, I have no idea what is driving him, but it's definitely not honor. If you're interested in more breakdowns from Avatar, I made an entire video breaking down one of the strongest lessons that every man can learn from Zuko. If you're interested, check that out, but yeah, thanks for watching.